trio to this forum. So, as such, you are also part of this, but this is the formal welcome which I want to extend to you people. So, over to you, Dr. Gagan, now. What I feel, I think Dr. Gagan seems to be there, but I think he's not online or whatever. Dr. Gagan, are you there?
Hello everyone. I feel probably Professor Gagan will be joining us soon. Uh, is my voice audible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yesterday we have a discussion that the session was not in a position to be conducted properly. There were some technical problems also. So I requested Gagan to repeat the yesterday's session, particularly on e-views. So what we discussed was that we have already prepared the Excel files and data is ready. But how to execute the same in eViews that we were unable to understand because of the speed and some technical issues. So Professor Gagan will soon be joining and repeating what we have done in the earlier as we were used to do. There it will be hands-on session. So you are requested to open up your Excel file where the data is there and eViews also. I will call Professor Gagan if he's unable to join and ask him to uh, join us and so that we can start very soon. Uh, okay, so I will be calling him.
I'm here, sir. I'm here. Hello, I'm here.
So,
Am I audible enough?
yes, sir. So, I formally welcome you and your trio to this forum.
Thank you. Thank
And
you.
thank you so much for acceding to the request. And you have done a brilliant job for all of us by organizing this session once again. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Over to
So,
you now, sir.
yeah, uh, I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes, so you are.
Yeah, there were some internet issues at my end. I was logged in, but I was not able to, neither able to listen to you nor to speak anything. And there were some technical glitches. I had to restart my broadband. Uh, okay, so basically why we are doing this session, you know that this is kind of a capsule session which was not a part of our original program, but again the programs need to be adapted and according to, of course, the requirements of the program. So therefore, in this particular 1 hour or whatever time do we get, let us basically focus on two important things. One is, I know that you have been able to gather, collect, and formally put the panel data or your time series data into the panel. But I would like to see, or I would like to show how panel data is prepared, because that's one major challenge. And two, we have to begin with our e-views discussion. So that's also something which we began yesterday. But in fact, when I designed this program, I never kept e-views in yesterday's session. But probably because of the excitement at both the levels, Solomon ran into it yesterday itself, which was not supposed to be. But anyhow, there are always good things when people present, and uh, two people presenting the same or doing almost a similar thing gives a repetition to the thing. I would not be repeating what Solomon did, but I'll be presenting it or discussing it with you from my own angle as I do hands-on work. So, guys, first of all, let me briefly describe to you what is a panel data, or for that matter, what are the different types of the data that we look at. Two types of data we usually look at. One is the uh, cross-sectional data. What is cross-sectional data? For example, I want to know how many COVID cases were reported yesterday for all the Indian states, for each of the Indian states. So state is the section, and two states become cross sections. So when we are taking the data for the same period for more than one kind of countries or states or subjects, that becomes a cross sectional data. On the other hand, what is the limit of the cross-sectional data, or for that matter, what are the variables? Variables is something else, but I hope you are clear about the cross-sectional data. So for example, I take, as in the same example, if I take what were the number of cases which were observed for COVID-19 yesterday in different states of India, that is one variable. Number of COVID cases is one variable, and the sections are states. On the other hand, there can be uh, we can take this data for 10 days. Now, days are what? Days are longitude. Days data is longitudinal data. So we have two types of data. One is the cross-sectional data. The other one is the longitudinal data. Panel data is a combination of cross-section data and longitudinal data. Data for various panels for a period of time, for quite a period of time, is called panel data. So when I refer to a panel, I'm referring to more than one countries or states or companies or whatever, stock markets or whatever way you want to do. And I'm also referring to a number of years or months or days. I hope that is clear. I hope the meaning of uh, panel data is clear. Yeah, Mahesh is saying he has some query. Go on, Mahesh.
Sir, good morning.
Morning.
Sir, just one query. Let's say one is COVID cases and the other variable is temperature. So temperature is at such is not having any sections like the country. So still, would we be saying that as a cross-sectional data?
No, why temperature would not have sections?
Let's say we don't make sections of temperature.
Then you cannot have a panel data, because all your variables have to have the same cross section and the same longitude.
Longitudinal, sir, I understand. As you told that it has to be over a long period of time. You are observing a variable.
No,
Uh,
my point is that if you have two variables,
yes.
temperature and COVID cases, both of those have to be cross sectional, both of those have to be longitudinal. Then only it makes a makes a panel data.
Okay, sir, will you elaborate both the cross sections, please?
I will come to it. I mean,
Okay.
right now I'm only saying in theory. if you are clear about the theory, that's good. If you are not clear about the theory, you will just understand when I go for the practicals.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Right. Now,
Hello, sir.
yeah, Pooja, go on.
Sorry to interrupt you. Sir, could you please elaborate little more on what do we understand by the terminology data must have sections?
I'm not saying data must have sections. I'm
Okay.
saying there are two types of data. One is the sectional data. When I say sectional data, for example, I want to know how much are you competent with Mendeley desktop, all of you. So I take the data
Okay.
from all of you. Now all of you become sections. If there are 40 right
Okay.
now, there are 48 people who have logged into this chat.
Okay.
So those 48 are the sections. We have 48 sections.
Okay.
And there is longitude. For example, I want to know what was your level of satisfaction on the first day, on the second day, third day, fourth day. So these days are
Okay.
the longitude.
Okay.
Yeah. So in this way, there is to be a there can be a longitudinal data, there can be a sectional data. So when the
Okay. Okay. All right.
data is cross-sectional as well as longitudinal,
Yeah.
it becomes a panel.
Got you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
No problem. You will just understand. You'll just understand now. So I'm going to a little bit of practical now. I'm showing you some data. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So have a look here. What have I got on this sheet? I have only one variable, fixed broadband subscriptions per 100 inhabitants. And I have some countries. So Sanjay, if you look from top to bottom, these are the countries. If you look from left to right, these are the years. These are the years from left to right. And this is a variable. There is only one variable, fixed broadband subscriptions per 100 inhabitants. So when you collect your data, you would not get the data in the form of panel data. You would need to make it in the form of a panel data. Data that you would get would be raw. Raw, just like the one that I'm showing you right now. Right? Now, from here, again, this is one piece of data. This is another piece of data. So sorry, this is another piece of data. I have unemployment data. So these are the countries, and on the left to right are the years. This is my raw file. These are my raw files. I have collected the data for everything. I've collected the data for unemployment. I've collected the data for GDP. I've collected the data for R&D expenditure, for percentage of individuals using internet, fixed data, fixed broadband, etc., etc. I've collected all that data, but now I need to convert it into a panel sheet. What does a panel sheet look like? I'm sure you have already prepared your panel sheets, but still, I don't want that you make an error today and then 2 days back, 2 days later, or 3 days later, or 1 month later, whenever you go on to perform the analysis, you realize your sheet was not correct. So I don't want to take that chance with you. I'll show you a properly designed panel sheet now. I'm stopping this. Can you see this sheet? Can you see this sheet? I can't hear you. I can't see your chat. Please speak up.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
we
sir.
can see.
Okay. So guys, here the years are here. These are the years 2000 to 2017. These are the years. I've kept the years. So from top to bottom, you see these are the years. So I've taken the years 2000 to 2017. Right? Always you have to take time in the rows from top to bottom. Always in the panel sheet, you have to take time from top to bottom. And the first column, that is column A of your Excel, would include the years. Then there is second column, which is the column of country. Country. In the country, you would mention one country after the other. So first country I've written is Bangladesh, then I've written Cambodia, and so on. So one country after the other, you can paste the data of each country one after the other. Simple as that. Third column is on the country code. So you have to, not essential, as I told you before, that you take the country data. You can take company data, you can take stock exchange data, you can take state data. Whatever is your cross section, it will come in column B. Column C has the code which you give. So cross sections are given codes. For the sake of clarity, I'm giving codes to cross sections, cross section 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So I have total 10 cross sections. Then your variable. Then all your
Excuse me,
variables.
sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, is it this order should be maintained that first column should always be referred to the longitudinal, that is time period, and can we make a code first and date second or year second? Can it be done?
So see, there is always a system which we have to follow, and which always helps you. There are some reasons for that. Therefore,
Okay.
I recommend you use this format.
Okay, sir.
Don't deviate from it.
Okay. Actually, yesterday Solomon sir, when he taught us this panel data, so he said that first columns could be the code, should always be the code. So
Code of the
we
country. You can do that. If you want, you can replace A and C. You
okay.
can swap A and C. But we have worked together, Solomon and I always. Maybe Solomon follows
Yes,
that
sir.
style and I follow this style. But A and
But
C,
that doesn't make a difference, right?
swapping A and C doesn't make a difference.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Right. So other than that, are you clear about our panel data sheet? If you have any questions so far, I'm open to that. We won't waste much of the time on it, but if you have any questions so far, I'm open to answer them.
Yes, sir, I have one question. Like, if in the first column A, you have taken years here, like 2001 and 2. Like, our case is that we are supposed to take the number of COVID cases day wise. So, and then the sheet will move day wise and
Yeah.
country wise as well.
So, oh yeah. So here you will have days, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or date.
Okay. Okay, sir.
And here you will have, if you are taking state-wise data, here you will have states or countries or whatever. Here you will have codes, here you will have codes, and here you will have number of COVID cases.
Okay, sir. Right.
Two
Thank you.
other questions which I'm quite commonly asked. One is, how many variables should be there in a panel data? So my answer is, it can be as less as 2 and as many as 20. Doesn't matter. It can be as less as 2 and as many as 20. Second question, again, usually asked, how many years or how many data points should be there? So my answer to that is that ideally you should have at least 15 data points. 1 5. 15 data points. If you have less than 15 data points, probably this is not for you to be here. You cannot perform a panel data analysis if there are less than 15 data points.
Excuse me, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Hanji, hanji.
Sir, with data points, you mean to say the number of years, for example, for your sheet, it is the number of years for which I am capturing data, that you can say data
Exactly.
point. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, please. Go on.
Good morning, sir. This is Kamaljeet.
Ji, ji.
Sir, in this case, sir, sometime I have somewhere I have read that regarding the short panel or the long panel, the 5 years, it can be so even this can be the case in the short panel or in the long panel. We have the types of some panel that I have read somewhere.
It can be, but don't get into it. I mean, simply you have to have a panel which is acceptable panel. And as I said, if there are more than 15 years and then more than 2 sections, and of course, 2 or more variables, that's fine. The techniques of panel data analysis are the same, whether you have a long panel or a short panel.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions so far?
Excuse me, sir.
Sir, I have a question. Hello.
Yeah, go on.
Sir, is there any maximum or minimum limit for the country or the companies as well?
As I said, it can be as less as 2 and as... Oh, you mean the sections?
Yeah.
Again, as less as 2 and as many as you can handle. Previews can handle anything.
All right.
But as many as you can handle in your discussion.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Excuse me, sir.
जी मैडम.
हाँ जी sir. अगर डेटा जो है, if the data is missing for any year, then what we have to do? Like the data I'm taking, that is from 1981 to 2018. And like for per capita income, we have some values from 81 to 93 which are not available, like for Chandigarh and for one or more states also. So in that case, what we have to do? We can ignore the values for the initial years and take for the rest of the years, like 94 onwards.
There are 2 things that, in fact, there are many things that people may do.
Yes.
Some people may perform this in the form of a average researcher, and some people may do it in the form of a rigorous researcher. So if you are a rigorous researcher, you will do one of the 2 things, one of the following 2 things. Number 1, you would try to get the data in whatever means possible. But I understand this may not always be possible. Then what?
Yes.
Then what? Then the second option. What is that second option? Second option is that you interpolate or extrapolate.
Okay.
Yeah, if it is beyond, say 2000, you want to collect data till 2018 and the data is only available till 2015. So you extrapolate for 16, 17 and 18.
But like for like 1981 to 93, so if the values were not there for Chandigarh, because at that time they were not calculated, so they are not available at CSO or whatever it is. Any source we are not getting. So how we can do that for such a long period?
So one idea is that you can argue that these values are not here for Chandigarh because those were not calculated in that way. That is quite enough. But the other idea is if the period is not so long, if it is only about 2, 3 years, 4 years, you can always extrapolate.
Okay, so in my case, I think these should be left. So we should give coding only to rest of the years, and for those years, the values should be left.
You can do that, but you will have to argue, as I said, you will have to make a strong case why you are excluding those values.
Okay, but it would not affect the result.
Of course, yeah.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Sir, actually, I have a doubt. Like, we were trying to extract COVID cases in Excel in one go,
Mhm.
but databases show country-wise data, and we have to click on each day to get the data.
Mhm.
So, is there any shortcut to get the whole data in Excel format?
So I don't know. I'm as aware as you are. I don't know. Maybe a data collector or data scientist may help you with that, but I can only tell you that these are the sources from where you have to get. So we need to explore for ourselves and see what exactly is available. What I want from you is that sheet in which, in the form in which I just showed you. So you
Yes,
need
sir.
to have the sheet in that format ready. How do you prepare it? You may do some labor, someone else may not. Someone may do some labor, someone else may
Okay,
not.
sir.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
There are some electricity issues at our place, so I have to switch. I have to switch my.
So your voice is cracking up. Not audible. Hello. Good morning. Your voice is not audible. You're cracking up.
I'm not able to share my screen right now, but are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Not audible. Are you able to hear me? Because I am not able to. Okay,
Yes,
now
sir.
I think I can present. Okay, now I can present. Internet. This is how I may get it. Any format. It can be in any format. This is one may have to get. One may get it in the Excel format, or one may have to convert it into the Excel format, like someone was saying. So this is a broad kind of data that you get, but then this is not enough
Excuse
because
me,
you
sir.
cannot work
Sir,
on it.
sir, your screen is
As I
not
said,
visible.
what is not visible?
We could not see your. We could not see your screen. Screen. It was not visible.
Okay. Okay, give me 2 minutes. I'll rejoin the call. Right. I'll try to fix everything and rejoin the call in 2 minutes. Hello, I hope I can be heard properly now.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. There's a technical glitch, but now things are fixed. Okay, guys, so without wasting much of your time, I was telling you two important things. One, that the panel data sheet, how does it look like? So I've already spoken about that, but just repeating it for your sake. Just a second. Yeah. So this is how the panel data sheet looked like. And uh, column A is country, years, column B is country or whatever cross section you have. Column C is country code. Column D is D to Q are my variables. You can have as many variables as you want. eViews can handle almost n number of variables and almost n number of sections. It is only up to you how many can you handle, right? So this is what the panel data sheet look like, and you have to make sure that you save it either in the form .xls or in the form .xlsx. No other form. Is that okay? Are you clear so far? Shall we move on to eViews now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, friends. So I am opening eViews. I have eViews 10. I'm opening eViews 10 in my email, on my screen. You will get something like this. Are you with me?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes, sir.
So out of this, you have to select a foreign data file because Excel is a foreign data file for it. I click on Excel, I click on foreign data file, and I go to where my sheet is lying, wherever my panel data sheet is lying. I give it the path, and this is my panel data sheet that I showed you. Please reach here. Here, mind you, you may have number of sheets. Within the same sheet, you may have a number of worksheets, sheet 1, sheet 2, etc. So if it is sheet 1, you select sheet 1, 2, you select sheet 2. You select the sheet which you want to analyze. Oops, someone is unmuted. Please mute. Yeah. So you select the sheet which you want to analyze and then move to next. It is header lines. You can move to next. Text representing NA. If you want, if there is a text representing NA, what do you want to write instead of that? So I'm saying I'm writing by default hash n slash a, right? And that's it. I click next. Here it comes. This is the real panel. So if you have a good panel data, it should read something like this. Please note here. Basic structure is automatically it is a dated panel. Means there are years or dates and it is a panel. So it comes as a dated panel. If this is the case, if your panel, if you have a panel data sheet, it should look like this, dated panel. Cross-section ID series. So you know what is the cross-section ID series. By default, it is picking it up. So you need to verify if it is taking the right cross-section ID series. Which one is it taking? It is taking country. Fine, that is my cross-section. Date series. Which are my date series? Year is my date series. So that's fine as well. I go to finish. And here it asks link imported series and alpha object to external source. It is always safe to say no. I don't want to link. Right? So this is now my eViews a file which is open. Are you okay so far? Are you with me so far, or you want me to repeat something out?
It's clear, sir.
Clear.
Please repeat once.
Sure, sir. Sure. So what I'm doing, I'm closing this sheet again, and I will be doing the performance again. So I have opened my eViews. I'm going to open foreign data as work file. Which one and where is my foreign data? My sheet is lying here. So you can go to your path wherever the sheet is lying. I'm saying here it is the sheet. Which sheet? I have only one worksheet in that Excel file. You may have 10 worksheets in that Excel file. So if there are more than one, you give it the right path here. Say sheet 1, 2, 3, whatever is your sheet. And then click on next. This is a normal step 2 of 4 is a normal step. You can go next. Step 3 is also a normal, but if there is any NA, we have like someone asked that what will we do if the data is not available? So we would have to fill that data in one way or the other. I told you 2 ways. Therefore, there is no question of having NA, but because it is required, so by default, whatever is there, I'm leaving it as it is. Going to next. Here, this is step 4 is a very important step because it shows the structure of the data to be imported. What is the structure? So it is saying it is a dated panel. We have the panel data, so essentially you have to make sure that it comes out as a dated panel. Then cross-section ID series. Which one is my cross-section ID series? You know it is country. So I am saying country is my cross-section ID series. I have not said it, but eViews has by itself identified it. And which one is the date series? So my year, or what I said, longitude. So this is cross-section is my cross-section and date series is my longitude. Where is my longitudinal data? It is in the column year. So it has also identified the same. Therefore, I can say finish. Once it finishes, it would ask me whether to link the imported series and alpha objects to the external source. I am saying no, I don't want to link. So this is my sheet. Is that okay, friends? Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. Right. Now, here, what are the variables that we are seeing here? Let us look at the variables that we are seeing here. Number one, we are seeing C. So when you enter any data in eViews, it by itself creates a kind of regression model. Because see, all our analysis, all our social science analysis is kind of a regression model. We can't do anything beyond a regression model, rest assured about that. Chahe aap SCM, if you use SCM, or if you use what I call co-integration, if we use advanced techniques like ARDL, or further advanced techniques like say wavelet causality, all of those are simply the advanced, more advanced versions of regression. And in regression, I hope you are aware that y is equal to alpha plus beta x. This is our straight line equation in regression. Therefore, alpha is important. Alpha is what? Alpha is constant. So constant, it is automatically taken here. B. This is sorry, C is the constant, so it has automatically taken a constant, but it is filling it as 0 0 0 0 0 because I have not specified any model, but it has got C is something which I had not kept in my variables. There was no C, but it is taking C. Then other than that, country is my variable, country code is my variable, date ID I had given date, electronic consumption, energy use, exports, GDP, income, internet use, and so on. These are my variables up to mobile. Then there is also a date ID which it has generated for itself. What is the date ID? It has said, so you said you did not create this. Have a look at this Bangladesh 00, Cambodia 00. So you had country in one column and year in another column, cross section and longitude. It has created a date ID for itself where it is clearly identifying it is Bangladesh 00 data, Bangladesh 01 data, Cambodia 00 data, Cambodia 01 data. You had not given it. eViews has created it. So one is C, which it creates. Second is date ID, which it creates. Third is resid. Second last in my case, resid. It has created resid also. What is resid? I hope you are again aware of the basic equation of regression, which says y is equal to alpha plus beta c plus error term. What is that error term? For example, I
Sir,
hope you, yeah, please, if you can show.
sir, the variable which we are not taking into the study.
Yes. So whatever is residual, for example, I want to see that how good is my internet working. My class, the success of my class is dependent upon how good my internet is working. So everything else than my internet, which is impacting the success of my class, is the residual, is the error term. So that residual also it is by itself creating, because as I told you that eViews by itself creates a regression model. And it waits for you to run that, but it creates a regression model by itself. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
Right.
sir, excuse me, sir. What if our Excel is not coming into panel data by itself?
You will have to create, but if it is a right panel, if you have created the panel data in the right way, there is no question of it not coming. But if it is so, you can create it on your own. You can alter the settings on your own. Okay, so guys, we have this is a basic of eViews, how eViews is operated. But since we have some 5-10 minutes, I don't know. I've written to Nathaniel to join the session, but he has not yet responded. So so now I think we can go on with a couple of tests on eViews till the time that Nathaniel joins. Basic test, the first function which we have to run, or first two functions which you can run. One is a must. Whenever you perform any kind of analysis, you have to perform a descriptive statistics. You have to perform a descriptive statistics. How do we perform descriptive statistics? From here, you can select the variables. I selected these variables. I selected these 7 variables. Just clicked on those, and now I am pressing enter. So this is my sheet here. This is my sheet here. Can you open your sheets as well? Are your sheets also open, and can you see something like this?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So from here, what we can do is you can simply go to your view. In view, you go to descriptive stats. In descriptive stats, you go to individual samples. Okay. Are you here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's
So
clear.
could you please repeat the step?
Yeah, of course. So I said you go to view. I hope till this it is fine.
Yes,
You
sir.
can You can calculate your, you can open your EBS sheet. Now go to view, go to descriptive stats, and go to individual samples. When I click that, I get all my results in a go, in one click. Okay. Okay. You can simply get this file. This file would open. And from here, you can see the results. What is the mean of first variable, median of first variable, maximum, minimum, standard deviation, skewness, kurtosis. You already know these things, no? You already know these variables up
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
to kurtosis. Right. What you don't know is Jerke-Bera. I'll come to it later. But you can report these. So you can simply click and select this. Right click here, copy it, and paste it in your Excel. Mind you guys, one of the common mistakes that people make, they simply present the table as it is, which is not fair. Because if you present the table in this way, that would create a problem for you, because the reviewer will assume that probably there is a challenge. Probably there is something which you are not able to, or you are not able to interpret it correctly, or simply you are just copying and pasting the results from eViews, which is not fine. You have to find your own way of presenting the tables. But anyhow, I hope you are clear so far how to compute the results as regard descriptive statistics.
So, sir, what is the option for graph generating?
Anji?
Graph generation, sir. Can we generate the?
You mean the graph?
Yes, sir.
I'll come to that. Wait and move slowly. We are firstly at the descriptive statistics. So questions about descriptive statistics, if you have any.
So could you please repeat the steps from copying the data? I missed that.
The opening of
the
the
mean,
data?
median, and yeah.
The copying of the data?
Yeah,
You
copying of the data. Sir.
Yeah. You can simply select this. So whatever you want to copy. So I want to copy these results. I can select this and then right click, copy, and then paste it in my Excel. And from there I can make my own table.
All right, sir. All right.
Right. I'm just wondering if Dr. Nathaniel is here. Dr. Solomon, is he here already? Just let me check. He has texted me that he's coming. Not yet. Not yet. So please keep an eye. Whenever Dr. Solomon enters, I will stop and I'll give it to him. But till then, we can continue. Right. So I hope this is clear now. I'll talk about Jerke-Bera in the next class of mine. But for today, this is the first step. Now let's go to the correlation. Let's go to the correlation, or go to the next thing. In fact, let me not go to correlation. Let me go to something else which is important for you. Okay, so I'm deleting this entitled group. Here we are. Here I am. Now, friends, most of the econometric analysis, mind you, is to be performed not on the raw data. This is the raw data. What we saw was a raw data. The challenge is, किसी का म्यूट नहीं है यार, अनम्यूटेड है, उसको म्यूट कीजिए प्लीज. Yeah. So the challenge with raw data is that there is a trend in the raw data. For example, if I take an example, the stock market, suppose it closed yesterday at 10,000. So at what point do you think it will open today? Can it open today at 1000? Or 30,000? Do you think it can open today at 1000 or 30,000 or something like that? Of course not. Yesterday's price, it will open somewhere close to yesterday's price. So today's price may be impacted by thousands of things. How many COVID cases were discovered? Where did Nasdaq close? All those things are important, but those will only dictate the deviation from yesterday's price. The base will remain yesterday's price. But as those of you who have studied economics in say, who have passed their post graduations at the time that I did or before that, would realize that there was a zero-based budgeting, which means we start from scratch. So starting from scratch means that we do not consider yesterday's price at all. Therefore, we need to start from scratch. For that very purpose, all the econometric data, it is advisable that we perform not on the raw data, but on the log of the series. Please note, on the log of the series. So before you take any, before you proceed with any econometric analysis, it is advisable that you compute log of the series. I have already computed logs here. If you see on my screen, you can see I have already computed logs of a number of series, but I'm now going to tell you how to compute log on your series. Go to quick. Yes.
Sir?
Yes. Yeah.
So the reason for calculating logs is that we are going with the rationale that today's data will be dependent upon some previous time element or so.
Yes, it will be dependent upon yesterday's data because there is so much of trend. So to detrend it, we are using the log of the series.
Okay, all right, sir. Thank you.
I hope you are clear about the reasoning. Good, Pooja, that you asked, but you have to be clear about one, why do we do it? Number two, how do we do it? So are you clear about why do we do it?
Yes, sir, it's clear.
So now I'm coming to how do we do it. So go to quick. And then go to generate series. Here you have to write the name of the series. Which series do you want? What name do you want to give to the series that you want to create? So what we are going to do is a D log, natural log. Therefore, I am writing it ln. ln I'm adding myself. Then I'm saying underscore. Whichever series the log you want to take. I want to take the log of energy use. So I'm giving a name to my series ln underscore energy use.
So could you please start again? Sorry.
I've done nothing. You can write your name in the name of the series. So this is just a name of the series that you want to give. Whatever name you want to give it. You may give it Gagan. You may call it Gagan. Or if your original series is energy use, I'm calling it log normal of energy use. So ln underscore energy use. Just the name that I'm giving is equal to. So from here, I would say ln energy use is equal to what? I want to take natural log, so I am writing D log. D-L-O-G, D log. Then I'm starting the bracket and I'm writing the name of the series of which I want to take log. So you look at here, energy use. You have to spell it exactly the way it is spelled here. Energy use, you close the bracket. This is the equation. Are you clear about the equation? If you have any doubt, just ask me, or if you want to see, you can see my screen. It is very simple. I'm creating a log series. But how am I creating the log series? I'm taking ln underscore energy use is equal to D log bracket starts energy use bracket close. I hope you're fine with it.
Sir, it is giving syntax error.
I did not click OK yet. Don't run.
Okay. Okay.
Up to this, are you okay? So now I am clicking OK. It has created a ln_energy use series for me. Let us create one more. I want to create export series. So I'm going to quick again. I'm going to generate series. So can you tell me now? Can someone tell me? I want to create a log of exports. Can someone dictate? What should I do?
It should be, sir, ln_exports
Right.
equal to dlog
Log.
bracket exports bracket close.
Very right. So bracket exports, bracket close. So in the same way, I've created log for all my series. I've created log for all my series. So if I select those correctly and open it, this is how. Now you talk about the syntax error that someone was talking. If there is a syntax error, it means that there was something wrong in your original series. So please have a look at your original series once again. There must be something wrong there.
Sir, can you take a reason why we take the log also?
Why do we take the log?
Yeah, you have discussed it in two portions. How we do, how we have to do it, and why we do it.
Of course. So why we do is important because we have to detrend. If we keep the trend, suppose I want to know where it is, what will be the stock market or stock market levels today. If I do not include where did the market close yesterday, right? Can I predict where will the market close today?
No, sir.
I only tell you, I ask you, बताइए stock market where will it close on Monday? So you, I tell you, Nasdaq is doing this way, this is doing this way, COVID cases are going this way, geopolitics is happening this way, this is what's happening, this is what's happening. But I do not tell you the level at which it closed on Friday. So you can only tell me, whether it will increase or decrease, how much it will increase or decrease. That's it. You cannot tell me the exact level. Therefore, we should capture the increase or decrease. We cannot capture the levels. If we want to capture the level, then we will have to take into account the previous day's data. So therefore, our focus is that we exclude the previous day's data. We are not bothered about the exact levels. Let us only capture the change. To capture the change, we are taking the log normal.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Is there any further question?
Yes, sir.
Sir, I have one question.
Right.
Sir, if we have data of sales or purchase which are not, trended, so we should take log of that series as well. What I have learned, if it is stock market data, we should take log, but if it is purchase or sales kind of data, then we should not take log. Is it right?
So if you're doing a panel data analysis, you should do log. There is no harm in taking the log of even the series, which is, as you said, about the purchase or sales. There is no harm in that. But in the later stage, I'll explain to you whether to take log or when to take log. I'll explain to you once again in the later stage in an advanced version. But today it is only for you to understand that whenever we are doing a time series or panel data modeling, we have to take the log. For the time being, just remember this. But yeah, for the times to come, I'll explain and reflect upon it in greater detail on Monday.
Sir, one more question. Sir, this retrending the data series is for stationarity, bringing stationarity in the data. Am I right?
You are right.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, good morning. Sir, my question is, how log eliminate the stationarity or trend?
See, I am right now using the word trend. I have myself not used the word stationarity because, as I said, I'm going very slow, and as I said in my first class, that I will begin from the level of the person who doesn't know anything on econometrics, and from there we will move and we will move up. So I am right now, I have not used the word stationarity. I'm not talking about stationarity. I've only used the word trend, right? So uh, uh, Mahesh, there is so much noise at your end, probably.
Okay, sir. So I just repeat the question and then I'll just mute the mic. Question is, okay, let's leave stationarity. Man said stationarity, so therefore I also. How log and natural log, taking natural log will detrend the data? This is my question.
I didn't get you. How log and
How taking natural log detrend the data?
detrend the data? Oh, okay. See, there are various ways to detrend the data. One is a simple way. Simple way is that rather than taking the exact figure, you take a change. For example, yesterday market closed at 9,000, today market closed at 9,100. So rather than recording 9,100 for today, I'm only recording plus 100 today, which is a change from previous day. Similarly, log is a measure to record change. And natural log is a stronger measure because it is a D-log and it is a natural logarithm with a base 0. So therefore, it is always useful to detrend the data. There are three ways I can say to detrend the data. One, you can simply take level of today minus level of yesterday upon level of yesterday. This is a simple way in which you can detrend the data. Second is you can take log of the series. Third is you can take D-log of the series. D-log of the series is, out of these three, is regarded to be the best method.
Understood, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Is there any
sir? Sir, my
yes.
this in some cases, because when I have seen your sheets, all the data is available there. So in some cases, I'm not able to find out some data for some countries, like for in case of temperature. For Bangladesh, if for the sum of the years, it has been missing. It has not been shown in my secondary data. So how the log will appear in that? Otherwise, it can show the error as well.
It will show the error, but that's why it is important for you to fill the gaps. You will have to fill the data. Wherever there are data gaps, you have to fill that. You will have to interpolate or extrapolate. You will have to fill. Or one can, there is also a method that you can take the average of the median of the nearest 2 points. 2 points above, 2 points below, you can take the median of that and you can fill the data. But taking average is not advisable. You can always try to interpolate or extrapolate the data.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hi.
Sir, for example, one variable is number of COVID cases. So daily basis. So should the number of cases be taken the total number of cases or the new cases each day? Because then, if we are taking new cases each day, then log might not help us that way.
No, in that case, you don't have to take log. That's by itself a log.
Yes, right.
Because as I said, this is a return. This is an increase from the previous level.
So we can always go with each new cases per day and without.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, sir. Right. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions so far?
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, Sheetal, go on.
Yeah, sir. Somehow I don't know how I'm not able to import my Excel into the eViews. Rest of the steps I have captured, but if you allow me, can I show you my Excel data sheet?
Yes, please. You share your screen.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
There is a question which has been asked by Dr. Mino. Can you elaborate, clarify how to extrapolate if some data missing? No problem, Mino. I'll do that on Monday when I take the full class, but I'll keep it noted. may I request Mansi to please note this query so that we can resolve it on Monday?
Yeah, sir, can you see my screen?
I can. Yeah.
So this is the data we have collected for the 5 most effective states in India with their COVID cases and the average temperature. So earlier I have taken the code as the first column, but after seeing your sheet, I have.
That's okay.
So I hope that this sheet is fine as a panel data if I see, because this is the date for 30th to 13th May for Maharashtra, and then the same repetition for the other day, that is Gujarat, then Delhi, Tamil Nadu, and Rajasthan.
Wait here. Don't
Yes,
move.
sir. Okay,
Look at your 120th case and 121st case.
120 and 121st.
What is the difference?
Year.
The date format.
Date format.
So that is not a small thing. That's a big thing.
Okay.
You have to keep the date format same.
Okay.
So throughout your sheet, the date format should be the same.
Okay.
Yeah. So if there is a difference, it will probably not be picked up properly in the e-views.
Okay. Sir, I'll do that. One thing more, if I try to get this one, we can get from this where also. Import. So like this. I will correct the date part, but I just want to know about a few things. This is saying just for description.
Yeah, this is fine.
Okay, and this one it is saying that click the preview of the select column for editing.
That's
so
okay. No
we
problem.
don't need to change this.
No, you don't have to.
Okay. I just thought that it may be the temperature because we are seeing the change with the respect to temperature. So I thought it may be temperature. Next we are going to. So this is, but I don't know why. Maybe because of date part.
Exactly.
Okay. So I'll just correct it. If I have any problem, just will get back to you.
For sure.
Thanks a lot. Sir, one thing more. Just last thing. Just you said that if we have these number of cases are the cumulative one. I mean, this if we can say in Maharashtra on 6th of May, the total number of confirmed cases was this. But we get the data.
This is a cumulative case. So you will have to,
in that case, we don't need to perform log.
No. This is not confirmed case. This is the cumulative case.
Yes, sir.
So you will have to take the cases on daily basis. So you will have to take the cases, for example, daily basis. For example, 7th May, total cases are 16,758.
Yes, sir.
But how many cases were reported on 7th May? You will have to put the formula. So 7th May data minus 6th May data.
No, that will be that means we have to take the data. What are the new cases on that particular date?
So daily cases are the new cases. Yeah.
Okay, and we have to take care of that, not for the cumulative data.
Of course not.
Okay. In that case, we will perform the log.
Yeah. No. Then you don't have to perform the log, but you take the daily data.
If we take the daily data, then we don't need to perform. Then we have to perform the log.
You don't have to. So if you compute number of
You
cases,
don't have to perform the log.
Okay.
So can we
Hello. Sheetal, can you mute yourself?
Yes, sir.
Sir, in which we can take the reading in Fahrenheit or Celsius?
नहीं समझ आया, दोबारा बोलिए.
Fahrenheit में टेम्परेचर लेना चाहिए या सेल्सियस में लेना चाहिए या दोनों में एडेप्टेबल है?
Nothing. Doesn't matter.
Okay, sir. Okay. Thank you.
Also, sir, decimal fraction कितना होना चाहिए ये भी मैटर नहीं करता. मतलब we can take the round off digit because from the where we have collected the data, some sites are providing us the round off digits and some sites are giving us in fractions.
But you must be using for one website only, so it's always advisable that you keep it up to 2 decimal points.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah. Any other questions so far?
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Sir, the question is about descriptive statistics. While writing in the papers, of this econometrics. What exactly about the descriptive statistics we must report in the paper? I mean, shall we go for all the descriptive statistics or some particular or important one?
See, you read the literature and see which
Okay.
area are you working on. So what is your research problem? And around your
Okay.
research problem, what kind of data are people reporting, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
look at the premier papers in your area and then take a call based
Okay.
on.
Okay. So here also we go for normality checking or something like that, like we do with primary data.
Again, as I said, so I am going
Okay.
very slow and I'll come to it,
Okay.
come to the
Okay, sir.
normality,
All right. All
stationarity,
right, sir.
all of those things in
All
due
right.
course of time. Yeah.
All right, sir. All right. All right, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions so far?
Dr. Gagan, Dr. Solomon has joined.
Has he joined?
Yeah.
Okay, good. He has just
Shall I take the opportunity to welcome him?
make sure that he's listening to us and then you can go on. Thank you
Yeah.
very much from
All
my
right.
side. Bye-bye. Take care. I'll be here on this session, but I leave it to Dr. Solomon to take it further.
Yeah. So, Dr. Solomon, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Solomon. So, I formally welcome
Good
you
morning.
once again to the sixth day of this FDP. I welcome you on behalf of Shri Aurobindo College and the participants of this FDP. So, we hope we are learning to some new knowledge base from you. So, welcome to you this session. Over to you now, sir.
Okay, thank you for the welcoming. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Gagan, and thank you, everyone. You are welcome to this section. Of course, you know that there's actually a time difference between Nigeria and India. So probably you guys started very early, and during that period, it's always a sleeping time here in Nigeria. But I'm happy to be awake, and I'm happy to be in this program once more. Yeah, after yesterday's class, it was obvious that majority complained that or some think I was too fast. And remember, we are working through the internet, so sometimes there could be some lockdown in the internet, and we have to log in all over again. But with this opportunity, I will take the time to explain some of the concepts or some of the things we did yesterday, so that those that did not get a good grasp of it will have knowledge of what we are discussing. Our intention was to look at panel data as opposed to time series data. So if I'm too fast, please you let me know so that I will recap and make everybody understand. Yes, I told you that time series data are just data that are collected over a period of time. That's why it's called time series, over a period of time. And the period of time must be consistent. Okay? It can be annually, it can be bi-monthly, it can even be daily, like that of a fuel attendant in a filling station. It's a daily data. So it can be daily, it can be weekly. Okay? It can even be hourly, but it must be continuous over that time. You can't collect annual data and mix it up with quarterly data. It's no more time series. So it must be annually, or it can or should be quarterly. Okay? That's what time series data is. For this program, as the organizers have earlier arranged, is mainly for panel data issues. So what is now panel data? What is now panel data? So panel data is just a combination of time series data. And when we talk about combination for time series data, it can be combination for a particular country. For example, in India, for instance, we have different states in India. So you collect data for different states in India and put them together. That becomes panel data. It can also be for different countries. Okay, so if you collect for different countries, it can also be panel data. So it must all be annually, or all can be quarterly, or all can be a daily data. Like I saw the data sheet Dr. Gagan sent to me. I discovered that it is most of the research topics are on COVID-19. COVID-19. So if you're working on COVID-19 and you want to make it a panel data, of course, you know it's either a weekly data you are working with or a daily data, because COVID-19 started last year, December, mid-December. So most countries started collecting data by January. So you cannot work with 4 months data. Of course, no system will run that, except we are working with the weekly data or month and daily data for COVID-19. So that is how it works. Okay. So that is just a brief intro of what panel data is. And we did this yesterday. Okay. And I showed you something and I gave you different sources. Please, as I'm speaking, if I'm too fast, to let me know I'm too fast. I can see some people are sending me messages telling me that my screen is not yet visible. Yes, I'm yet to show the screen. Okay. When I want to show the screen, I will let you know. I just want to take a brief recap of what we did yesterday, so that those that believe I was too fast or too slow will get to know what I'm talking about before I start showing my screen. Okay. So I'll show my screen later. I'm seeing the messages, please. So, like I said, where I stopped was issue of sources where you can get panel data from. It's one of the things I'm expected to treat. Okay. Okay. So somebody is telling me, Robin Kusal said my speed is okay. Thank you for that. So there are different sources where you can get panel data from. And the most popular of all the sources is the World Development Indicator, WDI. World Development Indicator, WDI. So how do you get data from World Development Indicator? I said if you want to get data from World Development Indicator, you are just a click away. Just go to Google, put there whatever name of the data you are looking for. You're looking for data on inflation. Just go there, say data on inflation from World Development Indicator. Google gives you the link immediately. You just click on the link and you see the data that you want. Okay? If you're looking for data on, yes, Gupta, thank you, Dr. Gupta. Yes, what development indicators? Okay? So if you are looking for data on, let's say, carbon emission. Sorry, I like using the word carbon emission because I love environmental economy so much. I love environmental economy so much. Okay, so you just go there, you put there carbon emission data from World Development Indicator. It gives you Google gives you the link immediately. And when Google gives you the link immediately, you can log in. That is how it works. Okay, so any data you are looking for from the World Development Indicator, you will always get it. But of course, it's not a source that has all the data. Another source where you can get data from can be the IMF website. IMF. Okay, IMF website mostly have data on trade. Mostly have data on trade. So you can just go to the IMF website and put whatever those. In fact, okay, there are two ways you can do it. You go to Google, you type the data you want and put there IMF. Or you open IMF website and you search for their data sets. Just go to statistics, see data, what you are looking for. Okay, so another source where you can get panel data from, apart from the WDI, that is World Development Indicator, and IMF, it can be the United Nations World Trade Organization, United Nations World Trade Organization, United Nations World Trade Organization. You can get any data that has to do with tourism from that site. Okay? Now, if you are talking about human capital development, there's what we call human capital development. Okay? Formerly, people normally measure human capital by mean age of schooling. Some use health. But now we have a more comprehensive data for it. The more comprehensive data. So if you are looking for human capital data, that will give a more comprehensive data. Just go to Penn World Table. Penn World Table. Penn is spelled P-E-N-N. P-E-N-N. That is pen. P-E-N-N. Then World Table. So you just type it on your Google, Penn World Table. You can request for the data. There's no problem with that. And I wouldn't mind to send the data to everybody's mail. Maybe they won't attend to you. I don't know. But you apply for the data and they will send it to you. Once they confirm that you are a researcher, you need the data for your research. You just write a formal letter telling them that you need the data. In fact, in most sites, you have to write a letter before you can get data. But I just mentioned this particular one. Others, you don't have to write a letter. But for Penn World Table, you may have to write a letter to tell them you need the data. But if you are working on human capital and you need this data so badly, I wouldn't mind. You can contact Dr. Gagan. I can send the data to him, but he just gave me the most recent of the data. It ends in 2017. So I will send to Dr. Gagan. Probably through him, you can get data on human capital. Okay. So, but if you're looking for data on globalization, I'm being specific where you can get all this data from. The ones I just mentioned now, you can't get it in World Development Indicator. Human capital, you can't get it there. Okay. If you talk about globalization, you can't get it in WDI. The one you can get in WDI, most people use FDI, foreign direct investment, to proxy globalization, which is very wrong. Some use trade, which is also inadequate. So the most popular one is we have what we call KOF index. KOF index. KOF index. Just type that on Google. You'll get data on globalization. Okay, so that is what we are talking about. So there are different sources for different data, different panel data, and these sources are online. On economic growth, of course, World Development Indicator. You can get data on economic growth. And the most popular data on economic growth in World Development Indicator is GDP per capita. So you just type in there GDP per capita World Development Indicator. You get the data direct in Excel format. Okay, so those are the forms of data you can get. And those are the sources of most panel data that we use for our analysis. Okay. Then if you talk about the data on, sorry, I have to include this because, okay, so sorry for the little pause. I'm reading some of the messages, I'm seeing them. Okay, sometimes you may ask, how can I get data on COVID-19? How can I get data on COVID-19? You can get data on COVID-19 from World Health Organization, WHO. Even if the data is not there, you'll be directed to where you can get the data. World Health Organization, WHO, they have a comprehensive data on COVID-19. Okay? So if you need other link, it's very simple. You talk to Dr. Gagan on how to get different data. If you talk to Dr. Gagan, I can send data, or he's also very knowledgeable on how to get data. So you can really help in this sense if you need data. Of course, we are here to help each other. Okay? So somebody asked me, he said, I think this is a female, Lena Arnard. He said, Dr. Solomon, we are finding it difficult to get data on daily temperature. Please help. Of course, data on daily temperature, one I know is mostly from the United States. They keep their data very well. So if I want to take it from United States websites, the United States, the USA, United States of America. But most countries don't keep daily data. But I know of the US keep their daily data, and I've seen some research work where daily data were used with data link. Okay, so but I don't know for other countries, but I'm sure of that of the United States. Okay, somebody said again, Amita Saini said, yes, sir, I did it this from Yes, so somebody, Anita Saini just confirmed that COVID-19 data is actually in World Health Organization. So that's true. And Achala Aurora said, where can we get data on API pollution on daily basis at world level? Okay, when you type that on Google, definitely Google will direct you to the site. It's that simple. Somebody jokingly said, there's nothing Google cannot do. And I actually believe that. If you doubt it, put your name in Google and you will see Google will tell you about yourself. Except you are not in this world. If you are in this world, Google will, if you are on Facebook, Google will tell the whole world that you are on Facebook. Okay. So Kawajej, sorry if I'm not pronouncing the name well, Can Walichet said on WHO website, air pollution data is up to 2017 only. Yes, yes. Data always have 2 years lag. 2 years lag. Know what I mean? Like if you go to World Development Indicator, you hardly see data for 2018. The most recent data you see 2017. There's only very few variables like economic growth that have up to 2018. So data always have 2 years lag. Okay, so it's possible that the data may not be complete. So Dr. Robin Kosar said something. He said, Dr. Solomon, you are right. We get temperature data USA, but how to fetch for other countries? You are right. I said the same thing. That of US is simple. In fact, US happens to be a very hot cake when it comes to writing papers on temperature. Yes, many people write on US. So I, as a researcher, even when I search online, I hardly see data for other countries, daily data, where you can work with temperature. And again, I think if you are very interested, you may want to try something, and that is recent researches that are going on now are impact of temperature on COVID-19. Impact of temperature on COVID-19. You may want to research on that. Just look at the US. You might like to use the US. Just say impact of temperature on COVID-19 patients in the US. You already have data for it, and you work on it. It's a very hot research topic. People are writing on that now. So I just gave you, in fact, I'm writing on that too, but not on US. It was for most of the countries that have been affected by COVID-19. So it's more or less a panel data, but you can go on time series and you can make something out of it. So I believe today's network is more friendly. People are getting to hear me clearly and people are getting my points. I really appreciate that. I'm reading the messages, I'm seeing everything, and I'm also responding to it. So it's actually a nice class today. Okay, so another thing we did yesterday, sorry I was too fast as well as some complained, was how to show you how to run some of these analyses using some of the softwares. Okay, we have a lot of software. Some are user friendly. I said that yesterday. Why some are not user friendly at all. But I want to advise you, apart from giving you lectures like this, and I also praise the organizers for organizing this kind of platform to educate people. In fact, they have done really wonderful. Most countries doesn't even think of things like this. Sorry to say, even in my own country, we don't do this because we believe that at some point the network will fail. In fact, people cannot even connect to the internet most times. So the organizers are doing a great job. I really applaud them. Okay, and I really applaud them. So one of the things that can make you be a good researcher is by reading papers. You have to read papers. You have to read how people publish. To be sincere, nobody taught me research. I've never been in a class where I was taught research. Do this, do this, do that. The first thing I started doing was to download research paper. From my laptop alone, I have thousands of papers. The ones I've not finished reading, the ones I'm still reading. Okay, I've even downloaded a lot. Like yesterday, I downloaded more than 20. I'm yet to read them because I just saw them online. They look interesting. I said, well, I have to read this paper and learn. Okay, so you can download, like, you may even be wondering how I got to know Dr. Gagan. I got to know him online. I saw his papers and I loved them. Okay, that is how we met. Okay, and we are friends. Actually, we are friends. So you also saw my paper online, and in fact, I've written 2 papers with him, 2 or 3. I still have others that are even at the verge of being accepted. So you read papers online, that will broaden your horizon. Okay, if you like writing on climate change, you go to Google, you type in journals on climate change, you see papers, you learn more of how to write introduction, how to write literature, how to write methodology, how to write analysis. Most analysis you can see YouTube videos. Okay, but thank God this program I've saved some of you the stress. There is an hands-on program. We can show you how to do these things, and you learn a lot from it. So the next thing we are going to do Apart from that, if there are no other questions on that, we are emphasizing on, so to speak, on softwares you can use. Okay, I said some are user friendly, some are not user friendly. But when you talk about user friendly software, I think the one that is most user friendly is the eViews. Is the eViews. In eViews, you hardly code. You hardly code. Okay, like some people that are not familiar with coding. Okay, you hardly code on eViews. You just click, just buttons. Click this, and you see the results. So eViews is one of the softwares that can be used for data analysis. Okay, and that software you can use is Stata. Stata is a little bit challenging compared to eViews because in Stata you don't click, you only code. Okay, in Stata you don't click, you only code. But Stata can perform more panel data analysis than the eViews. Stata can perform more panel data analysis than the eViews. Okay, there are some things that can be performed in the eViews but cannot be performed in Stata. Some can be performed in Stata and cannot be performed in the eViews, using the eViews. Okay, but sometimes and most times, when I'm writing my research, I mostly use both softwares. I use the eViews, I use the Stata, because there are some tests that I cannot perform in Stata, I can use the eViews for it. Okay, so that was why I shared my strain yesterday, the eViews strain. And before you run any panel data study, if you want to analyze any panel data study, a long panel, not a short panel. Okay, you know what I call a long panel? I'll tell you what a long panel is. Probably a long panel is when you have a long period of time, when your time is greater than n number. Okay, probably my time starts from 1990 and ends in 2017. That is my time. If you look at that, that is about 29 years or 28 or 29 years or thereabouts. From 1990 to 2017. That is my time. And maybe I'm working on BRICS countries. Maybe I'm working on BRICS countries. What are BRICS countries? BRICS countries are Brazil, Russia, India is also there. India and China and South Africa is the fastest developing region in the world. Okay, so most journals like collecting studies that focus on BRICS because they believe that BRICS economy is growing very fast and therefore is getting a lot of attention. Okay, so that is it. So if you're working on BRICS, BRICS is just 5 countries. For your data set, your T starts from 1990 and ends 2017. That's about 29. If you're working on long panel data, the first thing you do is to check for cross-sectional dependence. I said this yesterday. Check for cross-sectional dependence. Okay? Now, cross-sectional dependence is like, cross-sectional dependence is like what happens in one country affects what happens in another country. That means there's a cross-sectional dependence between both countries. I'll take that again. There can be a shock in one country that will affect another country. That is cross-sectional dependence. For example, maybe like Nigeria specializes in selling crude oil, okay? And Nigeria trade with India, for instance. If for instance, Nigeria trades with India by importing clothes, okay, or clothing materials, for India purchase crude oil from Nigeria, and probably Nigeria happens to be the only seller of crude oil to India, and something happens in Nigeria, there's a shock in the price of crude oil in Nigeria. The shock is that maybe due to internal crisis in Nigeria, Nigeria is unable to sell crude oil. Definitely to affect India in a way. That is a shock. That is a shock. So this shock affects our results. So you have to use techniques that will accommodate those shock in your analysis. Okay? And what is that? That shock is called cross-sectional dependence. Cross-sectional dependence. So that shock, you actually test first if that shock exists. if you are using a long panel, to test if that shock exists, and I will show you how to test for it. When I start showing you my screen, how to test for that shock. But if you're using a short panel, you may not test for it. Like if you're working on COVID-19, for instance, you need not test for cross-sectional depending because it's a very short panel. And I've told you why it's a short panel. Okay. So Amita signing. Amita signing. Sorry if I'm mistaken if you're a doctor. Sorry for not putting the word doctor. Amita said WDI, United Nations World Organization, Penn World Table, and KOF and WO. Thank you for summarizing what I've said about data source. But you can also add, if you are working on energy, we also have the International Energy, that is IEA, International Energy Association. IEA, International Energy Association. That is where you see recent data on energy, even more than World Development Indicator. Okay, International Energy Association. Another one is British Petroleum, BP. British Petroleum is another source of data. British Petroleum is another source of data. Okay, another source of data that we have is United Nations, United Nations, UNESCO. You can get data on children. Or if you're working on UNESCO, but you're working on malaria prevalence or other things. UNESCO, you can get data on UNESCO. You can also get data on UNCTAD. UNCTAD. Okay? And I also discovered that you do not have United Nations World Trade Organization. United Nations World Trade Organization. Okay? Okay, somebody asked here, Sunganha. Okay? Sorry for the pronunciation. Suganha. He said, from where can we get Indian textile company data regarding various financial parameters? Listen to Suganda again. He said, from where can we get India textile companies data regarding various financial parameters? One thing I assure you is that this data is not on World Development Indicator. It's not there. But one place you can actually see this data is you can Google different sites in India. Okay? So you can Google different sites in India. Probably you can even put it will take you to the site if the data exists. Go to Google, type this variable in Google, and Google will take you to the data site if it exists. But it's not a World Development Indicator, okay? It should be an internal database, okay? One of the databases you have internally in India. You see that over there. Okay. Amita signing, I've repeated myself. Okay, I've repeated myself. Somebody said, does ProWells have data? I've never seen such data. I've never seen data on ProWells, okay? I've never seen data on ProWells. And Nupa Sachdeva. Nupa said, sir, from where to get daily data of air quality index of different countries? Air quality index of different countries. You can get that from the WHO. Yes, it exists. Air quality. You can even get disease prevalence. There are different data on WHO. You can get this data from WHO, I'm sure. Okay? You can get it from WHO. So those are the sources of most of the data sets that we have. Okay? So I've attended to some questions. I think another thing we need to do is to connect to my laptop so I can show you again. I did this yesterday, but one problem I always have when I show you from my laptop, I don't know if there's something I'm not getting right, is that I won't be able to hear you when you ask questions. But I mostly see the questions, but I won't be able to hear you when you ask questions. Maybe because your mic is off, no problem about that. But I'm going to show you how to use the eViews to run some of these analysis. But first, I have to connect to the eViews. Okay, I have to show you my screen so we see how we work with this. Okay, so sorry, let me log in my system. If you have question, you can keep bringing in the question as we address these issues. Please don't stop to ask questions if you don't understand. Okay? I don't know if you wait, but tell him I might. Sorry, I'm trying to show my screen from my laptop. Of course, you know I have to log out from my phone first so that I can connect the laptop effectively. Just tell her it shouldn't be more than 1 hour. So it will not even get to 1 hour. So I'm about to show you my screen. So we do the more practical thing.
in case
Professor Gagan, I feel that there is some technical problem. You make carry on till Dr. Solomon is in a position to join.
so, sir, till the time that he is not here, maybe I can hear if there are some queries from you, or if you are okay with whatever we have done so far and whatever Solomon has discussed so far.
Yeah, that will be very good.
Yeah, Dr. Solomon, in the meantime, I request you to leave the meeting and then join back. I'll write to him over WhatsApp. I'll write to him. If you can leave the meeting, Dr. Solomon, we are unable to hear you. If you can leave the meeting and then join back, that would be fine.
Okay, I should leave the meeting and join back.
Now we can hear you.
Okay. So I was trying to share my screen. I was trying to share my screen. So in the process, I discovered some issues. But let me leave the meeting and join back immediately. Thank you. Let me leave and join back. Yes.
In the meantime, if there are some questions or whatever you have heard from Dr. Solomon so far, if there are any points, I can respond to those.
So I had one doubt. We opted for G20 nations, and in G20 nations, European Union is taken in a collective manner. So when we search for the data, we are not finding the cases for European Union, we are finding for it the individual countries. So how can we proceed on with that?
Why do you need to find the data about the European Union per se? You should take it individual countries. Hello? I think you should take I don't think you should take the data from the European Union as such. You should take it for the individual countries. That's always better.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Don't see when we talk about the region. We should not talk. Even when we talk about the region, it should not be about the region per se. We should talk about the countries.
Okay.
G.
Hello.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. So when I tried to get data for air pollution index from WHO website, but in their website the data is available only up to 2017, I think so.
So wait, Anshita, if you are here, I think you can take these points better. I have not seen the data. You might have seen the data, or probably you will be able to guide them a bit better. Anshita, if you are around. If there are some data queries, if there are e-views related queries, I am available. But for data queries, I think I put it to Anshita.
She's not currently here in meeting, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
So same problem what I have encountered is the last updated data regarding air quality index on WHO's website is for 2017.
Air quality data?
Yes, sir. So I'm unable to fetch data from different sources. Could you please suggest me some other source?
So I have myself not collected data, unfortunately, but I can suggest you something. I think there is a European body from which there is some data available. I can just check it out today. Let me spend some time on it and then help you out with the data. I don't exactly know, but remember to ask this from Solomon once he joins back.
Sir, I had asked and he recommended WHO's website for that.
No, you ask him that you need the monthly data or whatever, like something like that. It's daily data or something like that.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So
Hello.
yes,
Because,
I
because
had
in our
asked her.
paper, we are working on a paper together, Solomon, me, and some other people, and they are collecting the data for that.
Okay, sir, I had asked a
Hello, sir.
question for this.
Mm-hmm.
I had asked the question, but he said about the WHO website only.
ठीक है. Well, that should be fine.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hanji, Gagan sir, in our case, like our topic is impact of temperature on COVID-19. So we are having the data availability of COVID-19 cases on daily basis, but the temperature data is available in some sites on monthly basis. So can we make that workable on eViews?
Monthly data?
Sir, monthly data of temperature is available, whereas the COVID cases are on daily basis. So, is it okay to make a comparison of both on eViews, like one is on monthly and other is on daily?
No, unfortunately, no.
Okay, okay, sir.
You will have to convert your monthly data into daily data.
Okay, sir. Right, right.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. That can be done, but you need to do that. There is no other alternative. So I am right now seeing a website where there are the data are available, AQI data are available. I don't see why you couldn't get it. So I'm texting it if in this chat also I can put it. So just have a look at this website. This is my first search that I have performed.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes,
Hello,
please.
sir. Sir, that is bit out of the track. If you allow me to ask.
Of course.
Sir, actually, what I have learned is that we run a balanced panel data in eViews and unbalanced ones in these data. So, are we going to use both these softwares for the panel data analysis, or
Which one is the second one?
sir, if we are working on the unbalanced panel data, up to 15%, if it is unbalanced, we work on stata.
Yeah,
And if
yeah.
it is right, so are we going to use both these softwares for panel data analysis, or we'll be working only on stata or only on eViews?
Manpreet, in fact, not just this, but in fact a step further. When I take your class on Monday, Tuesday, I have programmed myself for Monday, Tuesday's class accordingly that we are going to discuss the panel data techniques in detail in those classes. So in that one, we are going to have a detailed discussion. I will tell you that these are the 10 tests to be performed, out of which 3 are to be performed on eViews and 7 are to be performed on stata. And hopefully on Monday, Tuesday's class, I would be able to, maybe Monday we will be able to take up the eViews data analysis, and Tuesday we would be able to take up the stata data analysis. So my request to you is that we need to be prepared for Monday with your data ready and with your software ready, both of those have software. So I know the anxiety about collecting the data right away, but I am sure even if it is not available with you today, because I have also sent you a link where most of the data is available. So make sure that you have the data by Monday. So when I perform, it will be better. I'll be able to do the needful.
Very right, sir. So it means for panel data analysis, we'll be using both these softwares.
Of course.
Right, right, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Any other query?
And Dr. Gagan, Dr. Solomon has joined.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, Dr. Solomon, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so we are ready to hear you.
Okay, I had some network issues, but thank God I'm back. So I think from the little conversation I had toward the end of your talk was that this our participants our respected students and this, they will have avenue for practical section, and they will be given data to use some of these softwares, which I think I have discussed now. I've discussed a few minutes ago. So I don't think I just want to inquire.
What I think is that so these participants, they already have the research problem and the topics which I shared with you, and I have taken a 1 hour session before you joined today, just to just to bring them on board of where you left yesterday. So they are all comfortable with eViews opening now. And my request to you is, if you can talk a little bit about what are the tests that they need to perform, and I mean, in econometric testing, what are the tests that they need to perform to write a good paper? So how to perform, I can talk about it on Monday, Tuesday when I discuss with them. But I think what is more important, which you can expertly give them the thought where your expertise lies, and it would be very, very helpful for them. What are the tests that they need to perform in eViews? If you can discuss sequentially, that will be either in eViews or Strata. But if they are to do a, say, paper on COVID-19 cases and temperature in the world, so panel they have the panel data. What are the econometric tests that they need to perform? If you can detail on that, that would be very good. And whatever time remains, you can take up eViews. Do you think this will be fine, sir?
Very fine, very fine. I can start that right away. Okay, hope you can hear me, Dr. Gogan.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you. Yes,
okay,
yes,
so,
yes.
Okay, I can go ahead now, right?
Of course, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So what are the kind of tests you can perform that can be the sequential order of all these tests that can be probably accepted in a reputable journal? I think those are the things I should explain at this point. Now, I will start by saying some journals, high quality journals, they hardly accept panel data tests that deals with first generation analysis. Now in panel data, there are two types of analysis. It's either you are using first generation or you are using a second generation test. Now listen very well. When they say a test is first generation, it doesn't mean that the test is old. It doesn't mean the test is old. Now, first generation panel data techniques are techniques that do not consider cross-sectional dependence or other panel data problems. Okay? Panel data has lots of problems. Of course, these data, sometimes they are collected using different units and different countries. So sometimes they have lots of problems. So a technique that does not consider these problems but carry out this analysis on a blanket view, believing that everything is well, we call those panel data techniques first generation. I will give you examples of those first generation panel data techniques. I'll give you an example of them. For example, if you're looking at unit root tests, for example, there's what we call LLC, Levin, Leal, and Chu. LLC unit root test. So when a unit root test is LLC unit root test, you can see that is, I believe, on Monday, like Dr. Gagan said, they may be showing you practical views of all this analysis. But I think if we take this theoretical part down, you understand better. So there's what we call LLC, Levin, Leal, and Chu test. It's a unit root test that is first generation. Okay? Another one we have, I'm being specific about unit root tests that are first generation before we go to second generation first. Okay? The first one is LLC, Levin, Leal, and Chu test. Okay? That is one of the first generation unit root tests. Now, another type of first generation unit root test that we have is IPS test. IPS test is another example of a unit root test that we have. IPL test. Now, what is IMP test? Is another type of unit root test that is a first generation test. Okay, you can see all these on eViews, like what I did yesterday when I was showing you procedures of bringing data into eViews for you to see all those tests. Okay, so that is one good example, is the IM. Another one is Andri, HADRI. That is Andri test, HADRI. Okay, thank you, Dr. Gogan. I'm seeing your message that you're going to perform this test on Monday and Tuesday. Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, somebody said I should write the names of these tests on the message box. Although that will make me lose some concentration, but I will try to do them as far as I can. Okay, let me type the name of this test on the conversation box. Okay, the first one that I said here, I said is 11. I'm typing them already. Check your message box, you'll see them. Levin, Lil, and Chew. That is the first unit root test that we have. It's not Kevin, sorry, it's Levin. Levin, 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 Lil. Another type of unit root test we have that is first generation is Bronton. I've typed that already. Check your message, you'll see that. Another one we have is IM, Parisian, and Shin. That's what I was trying to explain before I move on to the message. Parisian and Shin. That is another one we have. Okay? These are first generation. Another one we have is Fisher AF, Fisher ADF. It's another one that we have here. Okay? Another one we have again is Fisher PP test. So these are first generation unit root tests. Check your message box. You will see all the first generation unit root tests. Okay, so you can ask me a question when you need to. Remember, class, please don't forget, I am showing you types of first generation unit root tests. This type of unit root tests, they have problems. But there are papers, a lot of papers have been published on them, even in year 2000. This current year, 2020, papers have been published on this first generation test. But you may ask me, if they have problems, then why are papers published on them? Why do people still insist publishing papers on them? The answer is very simple. It depends on the type of the quality of the data you have. There's some data you will have that you cannot apply second generation. It has to be first generation. And mind you, I told you if you are using a long panel data, the first thing you do is to check for cross-sectional dependence. So if there is no cross-sectional dependence in your data, you have to use first generation unit root test. But if cross-sectional dependence exists, then you have to use second generation unit root test. So that's the way that things work. So when some people run an analysis and they discover that second generation cross-sectional dependence does not exist, they go directly to first generation test. So that is the reason why some people use first generation test. So I've listed all the first generation tests in your message box. So you can please go through them. Somebody asked me, Poja said, sir, could you please explain what do we understand by cross-sectional dependence? Poja, I've explained this earlier, but I will take it again. Cross-sectional dependence means shocks in one country that affect another country. Shocks in one country that affect another country. Why is it so? Because those countries maybe they are in the same region, and these things affect each other. Okay? when countries are in the same region, and what happens in one region, one country, affects the other country, then you can say that they are having cross-sectional dependence. For example, I gave an instance. I said, if Nigeria trades with India, for instance, Nigeria is known for crude oil all over the world. India, for me, here in Nigeria, we know India for their tea, medical services, and clothing materials. Those are the three things we know India for here in Nigeria. So assuming Nigeria trades with India, and the only thing India buys from Nigeria is crude oil, and there's a crude oil shock in Nigeria. What do I mean by shock? Shock means sudden change. Like now that there's COVID-19, there's a shock in crude oil in Nigeria. In fact, the Nigerian government have reduced the price of crude oil by about 20%, because the price of crude oil have also been reduced in the international market. So if there is a shock in one country that affects what happens in another country, then there is a possibility of cross-sectional dependence. And you must use techniques that account for it. Now, in a simple language, cross-sectional dependence is a shock in one country that may affect another country because they are related. I hope I've explained that clearly. So, and I've listed all the first generation unit truth tests. Now, we have also what we call first generation co-integration tests. First generation co-integration tests. And I will list them. The first one is Pedroni. Pedroni. These are examples of first generation unit truth tests. We have Pedroni as one of them. In fact, it was about the first, the most popular of them. And we have another one they call Cow. Cow test is also a first generation co-integration test. Remember, we have left unit truths now. We are looking at the co-integration. Another one we have is Fisher. We call it Fisher co-integration test. Is another one they have. And finally, another first generation we have here. Okay, those are Pedroni, Cow, and Fisher. They are the three. Yeah, they are the three type of first generation co-integration tests. Now you may be wondering, every researcher, they normally do this word co-integration, co-integration. Is co-integration really needed in a research work? What are the benefits of co-integration? Why must you test for co-integration? Now, you can only test for co-integration in a panel data when the variables are not stationary, when the variables are stationary at the same level most times. When the variables are stationary at the same level, or they can be mixed, they can be mixed. Maybe if some are I1, some are I0. When you say a variable is I0, what that means is that the variable is stationary at levels. That is I0. I0 means at levels. I'm typing that on your message board. It means at levels. But when you say a variable is stationary at I1, I1 means at first difference. First difference. That is meaning of I1. So when a variable, we have variables that are stationary on I1 and I2, all the variables you are using, maybe you are using 6 variables. Hope I'm not too fast, I'll take it slow again. Maybe you are using 6 variables. Then out of the 6 variables, 3 are I1, 2 are I2, 2 are I0, or in any order, but there's a mixture of both. You can do co-integration. Okay? Or all the variables are stationary at the same level, I1, specifically, not I0, I1. But if all the variables are I0, you may not need co-integration. You may not. Oh, okay. Somebody said, Esha said, what is the meaning of stationary data? Stationary data means that the variables, when they say variables are, data is stationary, it means they have a constant mean and covariance. That's a simple language. Stationary data are data that have a constant mean and covariance over time. Their mean and covariance are constant. But that is what is mean? Average. Their averages are constant over time. When you use data where the averages are not constant over time, your result may be spurious. Spurious means rubbish. Okay? So when they say you have a spurious result in the research, it means that it's a rubbish result. It's a needless result. It doesn't have meaning. Okay? So that is meaning of stationary data. Data that has constant mean and covariance over time. So when you have data that are I1 or I0, you can do co-integration. Okay? So that is purpose of, and what is co-integration? Co-integration means you are testing if your variables have long-run relationship. You are testing if your variables have long-run relationship. That means if they move together in the long run. In fact, in economics, long run is more better than short run. Concentration, I've published some papers. I think the organizers of this program have my CV already. My papers are online. At the moment, when I was even sending when I was sending my papers, I didn't include one. I think I have about 18 papers online now, 18 research papers, out of which, out of the 18, 15 are in Thomas Reuters index journals. That means very high, they are very high index journals. While the other two were the one I wrote earlier in my career. So they are like Scopus, and some are free online. Just two. I think the rest are Thomas Reuters. So, and those are high-ranked journals. Okay. So for you to publish in those journals, you must have a good research background, and you must learn how to write a research work. You must know this little technique. If you go and conduct co-integration when you have I0 variable, the journal may just throw away your paper. They believe that you don't know common econometrics. Okay, so that's why I'm emphasizing more on how to use some of these tests. Okay, so that is the Pedroni. So I stopped at what co-integration is. Co-integration means long-run relationship. You are testing if your variables are related in the long run. Not that they're related in the short run alone. Are they also related in the long run? That is co-integration. So when your variables are co-integrated in the long run, when they are co-integrated, then you have other techniques you can use. But when they are not co-integrated, there are also some techniques you can use. Okay? When they are not co-integrated, there are some techniques you can use. Example of the techniques you can use when they are not co-integrated is SVAR. SVAR is a technique you can use. SVAR. Okay? When your variables are not co-integrated, panel data, you use SVAR. SVAR, structural VAR. Okay, VAR means variance auto-regressive model. Variance auto-regressive model. So when variables are not co-integrated, you can use SVAR. Remember, we are still dealing with first generation. I have not moved to second generation at all. Okay? So those are the two preliminary tests you do for first generation. Unit truth, I've listed them in the message box. And co-integration, I've also listed them in the message box. Since somebody wants to talk. So somebody wants to talk? So that at least we can move to second generation if need be.
Hello. Dr. Solomon, good afternoon. This is Mahesh. Dr. Solomon, can you explain, elaborate a little bit about what do we mean by I0 at levels and I1 at what difference?
I didn't get that. To explain what we mean by what?
Yeah, what do we mean by that? I0 at levels and I1 at first difference.
Okay, what I mean by first difference, I should explain what I mean by first difference.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Elaborate.
So, I should elaborate. I will do that now. Listen attentively, please. Okay. It said I should explain what I mean by first difference. First difference. Now, every variable you have in Excel are in their level form. All the data you collect from World Development Indicator, IMF, and other sources, they are in their level form. And sometimes this data may have outliers. Outliers means big figures. These data are not well-behaved figures. They are not well-behaved. So when you check and discover that they are not stationary, how do you difference them? You difference a data by putting the word letter D. For example, if I want to difference else, for example, if else is a variable, I'm typing that on your message box already. If else is a variable and I want to difference else, it becomes something like this. I'll put D in front of else. By doing this, I have different else already. This D you put in front of a variable to difference it is to remove the error in the data. If there's any error in the data, you difference to remove the error. Probably you have outliers. The figures are not well behaved. Maybe one of the year you have 20, and the next year you have 1,000. That is an outlier. So you difference the variable to remove error, to make them have a constant mean over time. Somebody wants to talk? So I think I've answered your question. You difference a data to make them have constant mean and covariance over time. Some data don't have constant mean and don't have constant covariance over time. So you difference them to make them have constant mean and constant covariance so that the software can perform the analysis effectively. So and how do you difference a data? I just typed in your message box. Put D. It can be small letter. Mostly use small letter so that all software can recognize it. Small letter D. Example, I want to difference a variable called else. I will just say small letter D, and I will put else. I've differenced the variable already. The software will know that I've differenced it. So if it becomes significant at this point, then it means that there's difference. Okay? So somebody asks, before I answer another question, Ritika asks, on which software can we perform EDVAR, eViews, data, or both? You can perform EDVAR, as far as I know, using the eViews software. eViews software can help you perform the EDVAR effectively and in a very simple manner. Okay? The video on how to perform EDVAR is on YouTube. Just type how to perform EDVAR on eViews. You'll see YouTube video on it. So it's very simple in eViews. Stata it, but please don't go through the rigor of Stata. Why not try eViews? It's very simple. We are just clicking. That's all. So I believe I've answered some questions. Okay. So those are the first generation. Remember, I will take that again. You only do first generation test when there is no cross-sectional dependence in your variables. When there is no cross-sectional dependence, that is the only time you do first generation test. So if you have cross-sectional dependence and you do first generation test, the journal will throw away your paper. You don't need them. You don't need first generation test for the presence of cross-sectional dependence. So when you have cross-sectional dependence, you use second generation test. Now, I've shown you examples of first generation unit root tests. I've also shown you examples of first generation co-integration tests. Now, you may want to ask, what are examples of first generation estimation technique? These are preliminary tests that I've shown to you. What I want to is you want to check the impact of X on Y. We want to check the impact of health on growth, the impact of education on economic growth, the impact of India's manufacturing sector on economic growth, the impact of India coal mine on economic growth, the impact of India tourism on economic growth. What are the techniques you can use that are first generation? One of them is, thank God I have a wonderful friend there in India. That is Dr. Gagan. He's very versatile with these softwares. And I want to write papers, most times I allow him to do the analysis for me because he's very versatile with these softwares. You can use them very well. So Dr. Gagan will teach you how to run this analysis. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to using these softwares. So there's one we call full mean group. Full mean group. I'm typing it already. Check your message box. Full mean group. Okay. You can perform this on e-views, whole mean group. You can perform this on e-views. Okay, this is one of the estimation technique you can use to do analysis when there is no cross-sectional dependence. So it's pole mean group. Another name you can call pole mean group is ARDL. You call it panel ARDL. It's in your message box already. I'm typing it. Sent now. It's panel ARDL. That's another name you can call PMG. That is pole mean group. But people like calling it pole mean group. It's sort of panel ARDL. So you use this method when there is no cross-sectional dependence. Another one you can use is mean group. Remember, I said the first is pole mean group. Another one you can use is mean group. Now, mean group and pole mean group are in the same family. They are in the same family. You can perform PMG, that is the pole mean group, using e-views, but you cannot perform mean group using e-views. Mean group can only be performed on Stata. It has the same code. You just change where you type PMB to MG. Okay? I believe Dr. Gagan will do justice to this. When you start doing the practical section, you will see there. So, mean group is another one you can do for absence of cross-sectional dependence. It's in the same family. Okay, another one you can do again for first generation is fully modified OLS. Fully modified OLS. So fully modified OLS can be performed in the first generation estimation technique that hardly considers cross-sectional dependence. Okay? Another one is DOLS, dynamic OLS. The first one is fully modified OLS. This one is dynamic OLS. So these are some of the few ones you can perform that are first generation. Okay? So when you see a paper that is using these methods, it means that the researcher is in a good journal. It means that the researcher did not notice cross-sectional dependence. That's why these methods were used. Okay? Or it's using a mixture of this method with another second generation method, okay, to complement his results. So you can use it even when there is cross-sectional dependence, but you're using it to complement a particular result. Okay? So that is first generation. So when you have cross-sectional dependence, all these tests I've listed here could give you results that are not robust. Okay? They could give you results that are not meaningful. Okay? And you can't depend on their results, actually. When there's cross-sectional dependence, you can't depend on their results. Okay? Now, what are examples of second generation unit truth tests that can be performed when there is cross-sectional dependence? Please, I'm through with first generation. Now I'll allow those that have questions to on their mic and ask why I move to second, before I move to second generation. Please, if you have questions, you can ask now. You can on your mic and ask if you have questions on first generation estimation techniques. Please, I'm waiting for your questions. Thank you. Please, does anyone have questions?
Sir, Mantri this side. Sir, am I
Okay,
audible?
Maprit.
Yeah,
Yes,
sir.
you're audible. Go ahead.
Right, sir. Sir, if after first difference we get stationarity, then it is okay.
Yes.
But if what if after first difference we don't get stationarity, we go for second difference? For how levels of difference we can go for stationarity in the data?
Okay. The highest you can go is second difference. There is no software that has top difference. All software has second difference. That is the highest you can go. And when you get even you get stationarity as second difference, it means that that data actually has a serious problem. It has a serious problem. So that's why you hardly see paper where second difference is reported. You hardly see them. But if second difference is reported, you don't do any analysis again. You just check for Granger causality. That's what you do. Just check for Granger causality, that's all. Because second difference data are data that have serious problems, and we don't consider them mostly for analysis. Once the data has second difference issue, then that data has a serious problem with the way it was collected, and it can give you results that are not good. But if you must use them, you mainly use Granger causality tests. You only run Granger causality with them, not on, for example, ARDL. One of the greatest weakness of the ARDL model, it doesn't accommodate second difference data. And most techniques does not as well. Okay, so the highest you can go is second difference. No software has third difference. The highest is second difference. But when it happens to be stationary as second difference, then there's a serious problem with that data. And you don't run any analysis with it. You only do Granger causality tests. Thank you. Any other question, please?
Right, so thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question, or should I move ahead? I should go ahead, right?
I have a query.
Mansi,
Hello? I can't hear you.
I said you want to speak, right? You want to ask a question?
Yes, I have a query relating to the pool mean group and the mean group. So you said that the difference between the two is that mean group can only be performed on Stata and not on eViews. Other than that, any other major difference between the two?
Okay, there are major difference between the two. There are major difference between the two. Okay. Now, the difference between the two is that if you are working on pole mean group, for instance, the pole mean group considers what we call how would I put it now? The pole mean group considers variations in the country. We consider what we call random variations. Okay, if I'm going to use the language, you consider random variations among the countries. Okay, that is, if there is one problem in one country, not cross-sectional dependence. I mean random variations among countries. The poll mean group considers it, but the mean group does not consider random variations. You may want to ask, what is random variations? Okay, there are some things that happen in a country that may not happen in another country. Those are random variations. Maybe in a particular country like India, over the years, we discovered that the way tea is being produced in India have actually led to an increase in the price of tea all over India. And as a result, the export price of tea that India sells to another country also increases. And maybe India sells tea and other countries in Asia, as well as Bangladesh, also sells tea. I will now discover that the price of tea in India varies largely from the price of tea in Bangladesh, for instance. And in this case, the prices will not be the same. So when you collect panel data for India and Bangladesh, you discover great variations. So poll mean group takes care of those random variations, okay? But mean group does not take care of it. That is why before you decide which of the tests to report, either poll mean group or mean group, you must do what we call Usman test. Usman test. Usman is spelled H-A-U-S-M-A-N. Usman test. Usman test will let you know the appropriate test to report. If you are reporting the PMG, but you must conduct both. You must conduct both if you are using Stata. You conduct the poll mean group and the mean group, and the Usman test will let you know which one to take, which one to report, based on the probability figure of the Usman test. When your Usman test is significant, you report the PMG. If your Usman test is not significant, you report the MG. Okay? But the PMG is more superior than the MG. Okay? Thank you very much, Mansi Gupta. Thank you. I don't know if there's another question or if you got me right.
Thank you so much, doctor. Thank you.
Okay, I think no one is ready to talk again. Why I move to the second generation unit root test. Okay, so the first generation unit root tests are performed when there is no cross-sectional dependence. So, but when you have cross-sectional dependence, you use second generation unit root tests. And there are majorly two types of second generation unit root tests, majorly two types. One is I'll type it in your box, second generation. So it's in your message box now. The first one is CIP. CIP test. Another one is CADF test. They are in your message box. Please check them very well. Those are the two types of second generation unit root tests that can be performed when cross-sectional dependence exists among the data set. I think one of the most inquisitive questions you will ask is, what is the full meaning of the CADF and the CIP unit root test? I will tell you what they mean. The first one, which is the CIPS, means, let me get the meaning now appropriately. It means cross-sectional augmented, okay? IPS is cross-sectional augmented. That IPS that you see, I've already given you the full meaning of IPS, IMPS. Remember, I told you the meaning of IMPS initially under the unit root test. The first unit test I typed in your box, I told you that the first generation, there's what we call IMPS. And IMPS, I told you, is Paration and Shin. Look at the message box, you see the IMPS is M, Paration, and Shin. So when you put C in front of that IPS, it becomes cross-sectional Paration and Shin. Okay? Why the DF means cross-sectional augmented Dickey-Fuller IMPS. Okay? So that is it. Those are the two types of tests you can perform, unit root test. If you look at any published work that use second generation, these are the two unit root tests that are being performed. You can check them online. Okay? So we have cross-sectional IPS. So that is I type CIP instead of CIPS. So it's cross-sectional CIPS. Okay? Those are the two tests you can perform. Okay? Any question on that? I will attend to question as I move. Okay. Now, what are the second generation unit root tests that can be performed? Okay? The most popular is Westerlund. Westerlund 2007 is the most popular unit root test that can be performed when you have cross-sectional dependence. I've typed that in your message box already. Westerlund cross-sectional dependence test. Okay, this is a cross-sectional dependence test. Is a configuration test that accounts for cross-sectional dependence. Is the Westerlund. Okay. Okay. So I've given you two things now. The two unit root tests that can be performed when there is cross-sectional dependence is the CIPS. The C there means cross-sectional augmented and Paration Shin. Okay? Why the CAF means cross-sectional augmented Dickey-Fuller. Okay? So those are it. So, but if we talk about the co-integration test, I've given you just one, which is the Westerlund co-integration test. The second generation integration test that you can perform. It's the most popular. If there's anyone, it's not popular. It's the most popular second generation that everybody that publish paper in reputable journals normally use. And thank God, the CIP and the CADF and even the Western Dr. Gagan can run this test. So he will show you the practical aspect of it. Yes, there's a paper I published with him. It's online. If you type Nathaniel and Gagan 2020, you see our paper online. Nathaniel and Gagan 2020, you see our paper online. Dr. Gagan did some of these tests, the CIP, CADF, and also the Western. Now, another test, but what is the estimation technique this time? You know, we are taking unit root first, cross-sectional dependence, and estimation technique. There are second generation estimation techniques that when you perform, journals want to publish your paper. Yes, we call them advanced. They are advanced. They are advanced. So one of them is augmented mean group. Augmented mean group. Augmented mean group. This is the first one. Is a very advanced panel data technique. Very advanced. Sorry, I keep mentioning Dr. Gagan. Yes, he can do this test. He performed this test. He can do it very well. Another one is common correlated mean group. Mean group. Okay, these are advanced panel data techniques. There is no how you use this technique and journals will not want to publish your paper, except there's a problem with the introduction, or you didn't actually establish a gap in your introduction, how you write the introduction of the paper. If you can establish a gap, you tell the motivation for your study, I tell them you are using advanced panel data technique, they have no choice than to consider publishing your paper. Okay, so what are another one? Another one you can use is what we call Driscoll and Crail. Driscoll and Crail. This is another second generation panel data technique that you can use. This technique I just listed here can be performed using Stata, not eViews. Not eViews. You can only perform them using Stata. Another one you can perform here is Quantile regression. Okay? Quantile regression is a second generation panel data technique, and they can be performed using Stata. Another one is the Preece-Whiston regression. Preece-Whiston. Out of all these methods I've given here, it is only this Preece-Whiston that is very simple to perform on Stata. It is just a click. It is just a click. It's very easy to perform. The other ones, you have to code them. This one can, even with Preece-Whiston, can be coded, but you can also click and get your answer. Okay? You have to code the many ones. Just to play, you have to code as well. But you can also click and get your answer. It depends on how you want to do it. But most of them you code, but Preece-Whiston is a clicking thing. Okay? So these are the tests you can perform. These are second generation. Is there any other one? Yeah, there's also a very advanced one. Okay? The very advanced one is this is what we call it. We call it COP FM. And COP BC. I'm typing them already. Now, the ones I just typed now, COP FM and COP BC. Unfortunately, you can't perform them using Stata. You cannot perform using Stata. Okay? You can only perform these ones with Goose. There's a software called Goose. I'm typing it already. It's called Goose software. And it is a paid version of Goose software you can use to perform this. A paid version. So now you may wonder, why is this one more advanced than the ones I've listed? These ones are more advanced because the ones I've listed earlier on, like augmented mean group, common correlated mean group, Driscoll and Cray, Quantile regression, Preece-Whiston regression. Why these ones are superior to the ones I just listed now is that the ones I just listed, that is the AMG, common correlated Driscoll, Cray, and Quantile regression, they can perform better when your variables are stationary. All your variables are stationary at first difference, I1. But sometimes when you have variables that are stationary at I0 and I1. You know, I0 means stationary at levels, while I1 means first difference. So when you have variables that are stationary at I0 and I1, these ones may not that they don't, but they may not be adequate. So when we have I variable and I0 and I1 variable, we say you're having fractional levels of integration. Fractional levels of integration. And that is the benefit of this COP FM. COP FM is continuously updated, fully modified. That is full meaning. Continuously updated, fully modified. While this one, the COP BC, is continuously updated, biased. Continuously updated bias estimation. Okay, so we use them to make up for any deficiency that we may get from this first one. But I think I and one of my friends who are made from Pakistan are actually working on a paper right now on ICT, and we are using this method, this COP FM and COP BC, because we believe that they are very advanced technique, and there is no how a journal will reject it. Okay, so those are the second generation technique, but it's not limited to this, but these are the common ones we have. These are the common ones we have, and they are likely to give you good results. So I think I've addressed the first generation and second generation. So you can see the difference between the, so when you say first generation, it doesn't mean that the test is an old test. Okay, it's not old. And when it's on the second generation, it doesn't mean that it's a new test. It's just the problem that is solved. And you may ask, what are these problems? I told you that panel data have problems. The problems are heteroscedasticity problem, auto regression problem. Let me type them so that for those that may not be hearing me, heteroscedasticity problem. These are some of the problems. Serial correlation problems, normality problem. We have homogeneity problem, or what we call heterogeneity. Heterogeneity problem. And we have cross-sectional dependence problem. Of recent, I always think that all these problems I just listed are serious problems in panel data. But I saw a recent paper published by Dogan Ayub. Dogan Ayub is one of the editors of one of the biggest journals. And I discovered that the two major panel data problems are heterogeneity and cross-sectional dependence. Please note that very well. It's very important. The two most important panel data problems are heterogeneity problem and cross-sectional dependence. And these two problems are taken care of by AMG. In fact, they're taken care of by second generation estimation technique. Now, Nilam Sharma asks a question. Can I use augmented mean group estimator even though there is no cross-sectional dependence? No, you cannot use them. No, you cannot use it. You only use it when there is cross-sectional dependence. You cannot use augmented mean group when there is no cross-sectional dependence in your data set. You can only use it when there is cross-sectional dependence. Or probably one way you can also use it is if you can write a paper and you don't report cross-sectional dependence first. Don't report it. Just use the methodology. Just maybe in your introduction, you say use augmented mean group to account for perceived cross-sectional dependence. You get the logic now. So you don't report cross-sectional dependence, but you tell them you are using the method to account for perceived cross-sectional dependence in your data. Okay? So that is the only time you can use AMG. Okay? So, any question, please? Any that I'm waiting on? I think I'm through with the first generation and second generation technique. If there's anything I've not done, I will explain through your question. If you have any question, or if there's any question you may want to direct to me later. You may not have my contacts, but Dr. Gagan will address them, and you can always get those questions directly to me, or we have a direct link. Okay, you can always get those questions to me, and we can always communicate as we have always been communicating. Okay, so any question, please? I'm waiting for your question because our section has almost come to an end. So I will attend to a few questions and call it a day and wish you the best. So any question, please? I'm waiting for your questions, please.
Dr. Solomon?
Yes, please.
Yes, I have a query. With reference to the second generation panel data techniques, you had mentioned quantile regression and Praise and Winston test, Discroll and Cray test. So these are used when we get a cross-sectional dependence?
I didn't get the last thing you mentioned. What did the last thing you said?
I said that we use these techniques when there exists a cross-sectional dependence in the panel data.
Yes. The techniques you just mentioned now, the augmented mean group, common correlated mean group, Driscoll-Cray, Priswistin regression, you use them when you have cross-sectional dependence only.
Okay. And the quantile regression, Praise Winston, we use them again when there is a cross-sectional dependence?
No, you can't use all these methods. You can pick one out of all these methods.
Okay, one out of all these. All
yeah,
right.
you don't report all, but sometimes when I write a paper, I report like 3 or 4 of them. The reason is that journals, editors, and researchers, they will know that, especially I report almost like 3 or 4 of them when I have the same results. When 3 or 4 of them gives me the same result, I always report them to show robustness, to prove to the result is robust, that the result is true, that different estimation technique can show me the same results. But in a normal sense, you report 1 of them. But I always report 2 or 3 of them. Or sometimes I report 4. So mostly you report 1, but you may want to report more than 1 if the results are similar. Okay? It's only when the results are similar you may want to report. But you get more advantage of publishing your paper when the results are similar. You can publish like 3 or 4 of them. Present like 3 or 4 of them. But it's not all you present, just 1 or 2 is okay. Or even 1 enough. 1 is enough. 1 is enough. You report more than 1, probably if the results are similar. But it's a matter of choice. I report 1 most times. Sometimes I report 4. Sometimes I report 3, depending on the result that I get. Okay?
All right. Got it. Thank you.
Thank you very much there. Okay, Amita said is asking the same question. Ritika asked a question. Ritika said, how to know which second generation estimation technique to use among AMG, CMG? My dear, you have to use the one that gives you a favorable result. Okay? There are some kind of relationship that exists among variables. Okay? Maybe, for example, a growth in manufacturing in India should promote economic growth. Is it not? Yes. If a manufacturing sector in India is growing, then economic growth is also expected to grow. So if at the end of the day you discover that manufacturing sector development does not promote economic growth in India, then that technique that gave you that method may not be appropriate. So use any of these techniques you just listed. Anyone that gives you a good result is the one you use, okay? I hope I've answered your question. But if 2 or 3 gives you the same results, that's to your credit. You can report them. It's as simple as that. Amita says she also has the same question. So I've answered the same question. I've answered the question that the other person asked. Okay? Thank you very much. Amita, thank you. Ritika, thank you. And I hope you understand very well. Okay? Please, any other question you want to on your mic to ask, or you want to ask through the message box, because we are almost at the end of the class. I'm waiting for your questions. I'm waiting for your questions. If there is no other questions, no other question, may I ask to go offline? So I will.
Sir, before you leave, Manpreet this side. Hello, sir. I am. Hello.
Yeah, Manpreet, I can hear you, please.
So as there are no more questions from any participant now, so I, on behalf of my dear colleagues, friends from other colleges, would like to extend my sincere vote of thanks to Dr. Ajay Sharma and the college management, who made efforts to organize such fruitful workshop for us. Dr. Solomon, we really are thankful to you for the knowledge you shared with us. We appreciate your patient listening and responding to our request for repeating the content time and again. So thank you, really, thank you very much, sir. Special thank goes to Dr. Gagan Sharma, who is always there to help us and answer our queries even at 10 p.m. So, sir, your efforts are really appreciated. Thank you to you as well. Thank you, Dr. Solomon, for the knowledgeable session today. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm very grateful, and I also apologize for yesterday. The network was very troublesome, and for the first time, I was using this app for the first time, so I couldn't adjust adequately to how the app operates. But I'm happy. Today's lecture was fruitful, and I'm happy the students also understand. I also enjoyed myself, and I'll be ready to participate in this kind of program anytime, any day. And I want to say thank you to all the students for giving me their time. Thank you for the organizers for believing I could do it. And thank you to Dr. Dr. Gagan for introducing me to this workshop program. And I pray that the student understands this lecture and they apply it. I'll be happy to read some of their works online when they start publishing. And I believe this program will really help them because they are inquisitive and they are learning. And I want to say thank you to everybody. May God help us all. And I love India. I love India. And I hope to be there someday. I love India. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Dr. Solomon, thank you very much for your time. My only request, in addition to what you have already spoken to in all these to all these participants, my request is that once these people finish their work, they are going to work on the econometric tools now. And on the last 2 days of the workshop, Dr. Anirudh Agarwal from Copenhagen Business School, he's going to be here and talk about the discussion, how to write the discussion section, how to write the conclusion section, how to draw the hypothesis. So once they complete, these people may come back to you, maybe with a request to be a co-author in their paper, because they may need to enrich the paper further. They are working on one paper each group. So just in case these people want you to be available as a co-author in order to enrich the paper and then to take it to the right kind of publication, I request that you honor this request. That's it. Thank you very much from my side as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I'm giving you my words. I will always be happy to be a co-author in any of their papers to add value to it and probably send to the appropriate journal. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye-bye.